Every year, a financial company publishes a survey with a headline that gets shared everywhere. Americans say they need $1.5 million to retire. The new retirement number is 1.9 million. Experts, they say you need 2 million. Most people don't have it. And then the next year, the number goes up again and again and again. Here's the thing that nobody's asking. Where does this number come from? Who does it actually apply to? And is it actually the right question to be asking in the first place? Because you know what? I would argue that the obsession with a single retirement number, a magic portfolio size, is one of the most misleading frames in personal finance. It ignores Social Security. It ignores your housing situation. It ignores how you actually plan to live. And it tends to convince people who are well positioned for retirement that they're not ready. And people who have real planning work to do, that a single big number is all that stands between them and security. My name is Rip. Welcome back to Rip Talks Money. Let's pull this apart, folks, and then let's put it back together. As always, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. The more likes we get, the more YouTube will push out this video and help this channel grow. It's brand new, so I need all the support that we can get. So let's talk about it. The most common way these headlines get their number is simple multiplication. You take an expected annual spending in retirement, let's say 80K, you multiply by 25, which is the inverse of the 4% withdrawal rule, and you get $2 million. And then you publish it and you say, I'm done. Look, the 4% rule, it comes from solid research, specifically from William Bennigan's 1994. His analysis showing that a 4% initial withdrawal rate from a balanced portfolio, it had survived every 30-year retirement period in U.S. market history, going all the way back to 1926. Look, it is a useful planning benchmark. But here's what that number doesn't include: Social Security. If you're a married couple and your combined Social Security benefit is $4,000 per month, that's $48,000 per year. And you're going to target spending $80,000? You don't need $80K from your portfolio. You need $32,000. Multiply $32,000 by 25 and you get $800,000, not $2 million. That is a 60% difference, created entirely by not accounting for an income source that 90% of the retirees receive. The big scary number here, it headlines almost never subtract your Social Securities before their math. And make no mistake about it, that's not an accident. It drives more clicks. But it can generally mislead people about their own situations. Now, the reason a single number can't be right for everyone is that retirement math is driven by variables that are completely different from one person to the next. Variable number one, your Social Security benefit. Two people with the same $1 million portfolio and the same spending target, they can be in completely different positions depending on their Social Security benefits. A retiree that's collecting $3,500 a month, they need dramatically less from their portfolio than someone collecting $1,500 a month. Same portfolio, right? Same target spending, but a very different retirement math. Variable number two, your housing situation. A retired couple with a paid-off home, they need less monthly income than one that's carrying an $1,800 mortgage payment. Over a 30-year retirement, that's over $650,000 in mortgage payments that the paid-off couple doesn't need their portfolio to generate. Their required portfolio is structurally smaller. Variable number three, your actual spending. Most retirement calculators, they ask you to estimate what you're going to actually spend. And most people, they overestimate because they're imagining a version of retirement that doesn't reflect how retirees actually behave. Real spending, it declines about 1 to 2% per year through retirement. The go, slow go, no go, that spending pattern, that's well documented. A 65-year-old planning for 30 years of flat spending is almost certainly over planning for 20 to 30 years throughout. And variable 4, when you retire and you claim Social Security, retiring at 62 versus 67, that changes your portfolio significantly. Both because of portfolio withdrawal timings and because of your eventual Social Security benefits. None of these variables appear in the headline number. So let's talk about what the rate framework actually looks like. Instead of asking, do I have the number? The useful question is, what does my monthly income picture look like at retirement? And what gap does my portfolio need to fill? And here's how you can build that in 4 steps. Step 1, identify your fixed income. You can go to ssa.gov. You can look up your projected Social Security benefits at your planned claiming age. If you have a pension, add that in. Write down those numbers. Number 2, estimate your actual retirement spending. Not an imaginary lifestyle, your real one. I want you to look at what you spend now, subtract the things that go away at retirement, payroll taxes, retirement contributions, your commuting costs, your work wardrobe. What's left is closer to your actual retirement spending floor. Step 3, all you gotta do is calculate the gap now. You're gonna subtract your fixed monthly income from your monthly spending estimate. That gap. So not your total spending, right? That is what your portfolio has to cover. You need to multiply the annual gap by 25, and you have a portfolio target that's actually calibrated to your life. And then step 4, reality check the housing variable. Look, if your mortgage will be paid off at retirement or before retirement, your spending estimate is already accounting for that. If you'll carry housing costs into retirement, make sure they're in your spending number. For most households that have worked steadily, having a paid off home and claim Social Security thoughtfully, the portfolio number they actually need, it is considerably smaller than one that the headlines will suggest. Now, here's the angle I think is worth naming directly for anyone still building towards retirement. Understanding that Social Security, it carries a major portion of your retirement income. Change the math of saving and claiming in a way that actually matters. Every single year you delay Social Security past 62 up to 70, your benefits will grow by roughly 5 to 8% per year. The difference between claiming at 62 versus 70 with a $2,000 full retirement benefit, it's approximately $1,380 more per month. Per month, permanently. Indexed to inflation every single month. At a 4% withdrawal rate, generating an extra $1,380 per month from your portfolio would require roughly $414,000 more in savings. Now, delaying Social Security is one of the highest return decisions that is available in retirement planning. And yet the saving numbers headlines, they almost never mention it. Why? Because they are focused on the portfolio in isolation. Now, the impact for someone who's approaching retirement, the question, should I delay Social Security to 70? That may be more financially valuable than the question is, how do I squeeze more return out of my portfolio? The former can be equivalent to hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional savings. The latter requires market risk and time. Now, look, I want to be honest about the scenarios where a larger portfolio generally matters, because this isn't an argument for saving less. If you have limited Social Security coverage, either because you didn't work enough quarters, you had a career in a non-covered government position, or you spent years outside of the workforce, your portfolio, it has to carry more of the load. In those cases, a larger number is generally necessary. If you have no pension and your Social Security benefit is modest, your portfolio is your primary income in retirement. A $1 million portfolio and a $1,200 per month Social Security benefit, that is a completely different situation than $700,000 portfolio and $2,800 per month Social Security benefit, even if the numbers look similar at first glance. And if you want to retire significantly earlier, before 60 or before Social Security becomes available, you need your portfolio to fund 100% of your spending for potentially a decade or more before your other income sources kick in. That does require more capital. The point isn't that numbers don't matter. It's that the right number is specific to your situation, not some national survey average that makes for a good headline. So here's what I want you to take away. Just stop asking, do I have the number? And you need to start asking, what does my monthly income picture look like? And what gap does my portfolio need to fill? Those are different questions. And for most people who ask the second one honestly, the answer is a lot less terrifying than the headlines would have you believe. Folks, build your income map. Know your Social Security number. Understand your actual spending. Calculate the gap. That's your real retirement number. And it belongs to you, not to a survey. If this was useful, you know what to do. Give it a like. Make sure you are subscribed to the show. New video coming out tomorrow, folks. I'm Rick, and I'm going to see all y'all on the next one.